This paper takes a close look at the Ohio River flood that occurred on March 11, 1964. The Ohio River has a long history of extensive floods, and this being one of the most extensive, causing damage to Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. This paper discusses the characteristics of the flood, the tectonic setting of the Ohio River, the effects and damages caused by the flood, and the history of the flooding of the Ohio River, and how to go about preparing and reducing the risk of future floods.
From Missouri to Pennsylvania, river towns have been inundated by the rising waters of the Ohio and its tributaries and other rampaging rivers. Kentucky and Ohio have been especially hard hit. There is nothing amusing about this amusement park, Coney Island near Cincinnati. Much of this multi-million-dollar center was washed away. Damage throughout the area is already estimated in the millions of dollars.
The characteristics of the flood in 1964 were caused by extensive amounts of rainfall. There were two separate storms that occurred on March 2nd and March 8th, where the rainfall reached up to 14 inches. The flood caused peak discharges and exceeded previously recorded discharges in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. The Ohio River to humans is a very old river, but from a geological perspective, it is a young river that is only 100,000 years old. This river defines the border of Ohio and northern Kentucky. Years before the Ohio River was formed by glaciers, there was the Taze River, which was much more north until it was destroyed and pushed south by glaciers. When the glaciers retreated north, they left behind the Ohio River. Ultimately, the geography and destiny of the Ohio River was shaped by the shifting landscape, a process that continued until the last glacier retreated north. The effects of the Ohio River flood in 1964 were pretty widespread, reaching the 6 adjacent states to the Ohio River. Extensive damage was caused to the main stem, reaching from Pittsburgh all the way to Illinois. The damage of the flood was costly. Both money was lost and human lives lost. According to the American Red Cross, 21,745 homes were damaged and 181 were destroyed in the Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Indiana area. Flood damage estimated to be over $100 million, and 18 lives were reported lost.
Yo, that's a lot of money.
The Ohio River has had an extensive history of floods. Beginning in 1884, 2 severe floods took place in January, reaching 62.2 feet, and then again 3 months later, reaching 69.9 feet, being recorded as the 3rd largest in Cincinnati's history and first in lives lost. The flood left $20 million in damage, leaving people homeless up to 30 miles away from the river. Some of the larger floods took place in 1884, 1913, 1933, 1937, 1943, 1945, 1949, 1962. Our recommendations to reduce impacts of future flooding would be to build flood walls along the Cincinnati riverfront, to have barrier dams built along the Mill Creek Valley, and levees to be built in Covington, Newport, and Dayton to withstand an 80-foot flood. However, since these preventative measures have been put in place already, major floods can keep occurring, so it's important to keep these technologies up to date. In conclusion, the Ohio River has a past of damaging floods dating back to 1884. The flood of March 11, 1964 has proven to be historically one of the most extensive, covering a lot of ground and a wide range of damage. It left those of the surrounding area suffering from both loss of homes and human lives. Since the damages were so extensive, the flood of 1937 put Roosevelt's flood protection legislation into motion. There have also been dams, levees put into place to reduce risk of future floods, because the Ohio River will continue to flood as a result of major rainfall.